I was invited to the anniversary party of my husband's mother and father, and I was both excited and worried because it was the first time I would be getting together with my in-laws and their enormous extended family. Along with that, I will be introducing myself to my husband's brother for the very first time tonight. Because he resides in London, he was unable to make it to our wedding. However, as he is currently in the United States visiting his parents, I will finally get the chance to meet him. When we arrived, there was a vibrant house party going on that was full of laughs, music, and the sweet aroma of mouth-watering food. Everyone has been quite kind and welcoming to me. Throughout the course of the evening, I found myself participating in lively talks, dancing, and generally immersing myself in the cheerful environment. As I looked around the room, my eyes landed on an attractive stranger who was standing next to the table where refreshments were being served. When I saw that strikingly good-looking man looking back at me, my heart skipped a beat, and I had a distinct impression that we were immediately connected. My mind was awash with thoughts of mystery and enigma, but then it occurred to me that this is the brother of my husband, whom I was supposed to meet for the first time. I was able to recognize him because my husband had shown me a picture of him, and I couldn't help but feel drawn to him despite my best efforts. It was as if an invisible thread had been spun between us, entangling both of our hearts in its web. After my husband asked me whether I was having fun at the party, I told him that I was having a good time. Then a handsome brother of my husband approached us. At that point, my husband introduced ourselves to each other, and I became a bit disappointed, but when we shook hands, he gave me an evil grin and also pressed my hand while shaking hands in the most seductive way that caused my whole body to scream at his touch. Throughout the course of the evening, we found ourselves irresistibly pulled to one another. We found ourselves sneaking glances at one another, our eyes meeting for brief periods that conveyed a great deal of meaning. An electric charge was created between us with each smile that was shared because there was an underlying need that filled the air. As the night proceeded, our interactions with one another became more lively and regular. We were able to casually engage in witty banter with one another and find satisfaction in our common interests since our interactions revealed a natural ease. Our thoughts intertwined, igniting a connection that seemed to go beyond the bounds of a simple relationship between the two of us. We look for a quiet spot in the room where we can have free conversations. Our chats advanced to a more profound level, becoming sincerer and personal during these stolen minutes. We shared our deepest thoughts and feelings with one another, including our worries, hopes, and dreams. Because he did not want anybody else to be able to understand the way we feel about one another, he suggested that we go to the patio where we would be able to chat more freely. We hurried to get there, and when we arrived, we saw that the night sky was filled with stars. My heel gave out just as we were about to admit how we really felt about one other, and it caused me to lose my equilibrium. It seemed like an instant before he was standing in front of me and grabbing me by the waist to prevent me from hitting the ground. When I opened my eyes, he was so close to me that I could not resist kissing him. His alluring physique and flawless face made it impossible for me to say no, so I kissed him, and then he kissed me back. After that, we shared a very lengthy and passionate kiss, until both of us started to feel out of breath. When my husband walked out to the patio, he questioned us why we were there when the celebration was taking place inside. At the time, we were staring at each other with conflicting emotions, and we had not yet fully processed what had just taken place. I was at a loss for words because I had run out of ideas to create the situation. After a little pause, the brother of my husband told him that the reason we were here was because I had a broken heel and that we were seeking anything to fix it. My husband came up to me and asked if I wanted to go back home to change off my high heels. However, his brother interfered and said that it was our first get-together after the wedding, so it wouldn't look good if both of us disappeared from the party. Therefore, he would take me to our place, which was nearby. I stared at him in astonishment, wondering how he could possibly have offered this after what had just taken place between us. When his phone started to ring, my husband excused himself from the conversation and told me to go looking for shoes with his brother. When my husband left, I gave him an angry look and told him that he should not have offered me that because we need to keep some distance between us in order to prevent what had just happened from happening again. He blatantly held my arm and offered me support so that I could walk with broken heels. When we got to my walk-in closet, I tried on many different pairs of shoes. But I was not successful in finding any that would complement my attire. Since he was helping me try on shoes, we were sitting on a stool and the floor, respectively. At one point, I bent down to tie the straps, and he propped himself up to do the same, and once again, we got closer, but this time he kissed me without waiting for me or doing anything else first. After that, it was hard for us to stop, and we ended up consummating our attraction in my walk-in closet. My phone started ringing, and it was my husband. I answered it and told him that I was on my way to come upstairs. After that, I got up and dressed more quickly than I ever had before, and within a few minutes, he fit himself into his suit. While we were on the way back to the party, I had the opportunity to speak with my husband's brother. I asked him what we should do about the mess we had made back at my place. He glanced at me and replied, "It has already been taken care of." I even did not bother to ask for further explanation. We walked upstairs to continue the celebration. I saw my husband, so I went up to him and he asked me what had taken us so long. Everyone was staring at us, so I explained to them that I had been unable to find any shoes that would suit my dress, which is why we were late getting back to the party. After that, everyone stopped staring at us. When my husband asked his brother about his trip back to London, he said that it would be tomorrow night. After hearing that, my husband asked his brother about his time in the United States, and I had a smile on my face. He raised his eyebrows and responded that the level of enjoyment he had throughout this trip was something he had never experienced in the United States.